Oh, it's Alex here. Thank you for joining me for a bit of sewing chat, and thank you for all your really lovely comments on my last video with the flares and the silk shirt. Comments really do mean a lot to me, so yeah, it's really nice to have that feedback. If you fancy joining in, please subscribe. You know the drill. At the end of the last video, I said that I was going to spend a bit of time making some face masks, which I did, and I did use Dhurata's free face mask pattern, which is available on her blog, on her website. I found it to be, I mean, I haven't tried any others to be fair, but I did find it to be a really good one because it comes with different sizes. It goes from extra small to large, and I found that the fit around the face was really good. I've got some pictures. So I made a few in sizes medium and large. I tried to do, I mean, I would have made a few more really, but I tried to make some that weren't quite so feminine. I quite like the blue camo ones myself. But unfortunately, we've got a local Facebook group for people that are helping out in the area with the people that are self-isolating, picking up prescriptions and dropping bits of shopping off and stuff. And I thought that maybe people that were volunteering for that sort of thing might find them useful. And I was happy to just, you know, people to come and pick them up outside my house, which is quite central to our village. But unfortunately, the moderators felt that it wasn't something that they could offer people because of them not being official PPE, which was a bit disappointing, to be honest. I keep hold of them, and I'm sure as time goes by somebody will want them, but for the time being I've kind of stopped production. It was a nice thing to make and quite easy, and I was planning to get the kids, I mean my kids are 17 to 20, so they're not kids really, but I was planning to get them involved helping me if we'd done a bit of a production line. So I don't think it's something that anybody needs any great amount of experience to be involved in. So yeah, it's a good one if you fancy doing anything like that. But for the time being, I've stopped. So that left me thinking what to make next. I can't take any photographs just yet of my completed module for the Sew Along challenge because my husband seems to have taken over the living room at the moment and upstairs, so I will do that when I can get up there. So I had a little bit of think about what to make next. It was quite nice actually, because having been ill and everything, I didn't have any immediate plans. So I spent a bit of time thinking, you know, I'm sure like lots of people, you've constantly seeing patterns you want to make, and I've got a long kind of mental list of fabrics I want to use and patterns I'd like to try and things I'd like to make that I haven't necessarily found a pattern for. And in the end, what I decided to do was to come down here and use all the fabric I've got that I have bought on a whim, because there's something about it I really love and I'm fearful that it's going to run out of stock. So I'm sure I'm not the only person that does this. In fact, please tell me that I'm not the only person that does this. But I have a habit of just buying fabric that I fall in love with. Usually I'll buy 2 meters of it. Depends what it is. If it's jersey, maybe less. And then it sort of sits in the shelves for this fictitious one day. One day I'll know what to make with it. One day I'll come up with something amazing. And I kind of end up never using it because I'm a bit scared, usually because it's fabric I really, really love. So I thought, right, enough of that. This is the perfect opportunity to dig all that fabric out and to make a concerted effort to use it. So winter fabric aside, I've left anything wintry over there. I've done that this morning, and here is my pile of fabrics. Yeah. So no excuses, they're all spring summery fabrics and I need to make an effort. Some of them, have I got an idea? Some of them I've got an idea what I want to make with, but not all. And some you'll have seen and some you haven't. So I won't take, well, I'll try not to take too long about it. This I am dying to use. It is, I bought it from the Draper's Daughter, which is run by a lady called Karen in Chichester. Can I just say, there seems to be a massive sewing community down in Chichester. And I'm really jealous. I used to live in a little village on the borders of Surrey and Sussex that was really near to Chichester. And I was sewing back in those days and I didn't think there was anything going on. Feeling jealous. Anyway, that was 10 years ago. Rambling again. So, this is a Nanny Iro fabric. It's, I think it was called herringbone. Hold on, it'll say Nanny Iro Foreman. I've only got 1.5 meters of it, and if you've bought any of these Nanny Iro fabrics before, you'll know they are quite narrow. I think they're like 1.15 meters. So really, I think it was a bit of a mistake to only buy 1.5 meters of it because I'm a bit limited. It's a reasonably heavy weight. I mean, it would make a lightweight jacket. I don't know, and I love it. I really, really, really love it. So this, I definitely am going to concentrate very hard on what to make with it. Even if I just made a top, something like an assembly line, you know, the top with the gathers on the cuff. Can't remember what it's called. Even if I just made something like that, it's no use to me folded up on these shelves. I need to use it. That one is top of my list. Next, I bought this fairly recently from Lulou Designs. I can't remember what it's called, but it's a cotton knit in this kind of, see, look, it's a knit. It would make a really nice sort of spring summer cardigan. Thinking maybe a Blackwood cardigan, but then I've also considered making a shorter length cardigan, and there was one recently that came out that I like the look of. Can't remember where that is. Strictly speaking, this is not one of my colours. I think this is more of a summer person's colour, but I couldn't resist. I like this kind of muted bluey grey, so I've definitely got to use that pretty quick. I don't know, I'm saying pretty quick, but that, I suspect I'll just do a Blackwood cardigan from Helen's Closet, not sure. And then I've got this that I showed you recently that I bought online. Again, I think it's a Nanny Iro or a Coca fabric. I've got 2 meters of that. Again, it's the narrower width at 1.15 meters. So need to have a think. I'm desperate to use this. So need to have a think. I'm thinking more top than anything else. I'm actually thinking of something like a short sleeve shirt, which of course I've made a few of recently. But anyway, something like that. I've got 2.15 meters of this double gauze, which is also a Coca fabric that I bought in the sale at John Lewis about 3 years ago. What is the point of having this sitting on the shelves for 3 years? And these double gauzes are just so lovely in the summer. So no idea what to make with that, but I'm going to spend the next couple of days thinking about it, which to be honest is almost as enjoyable as doing the sewing itself. This fabric you have seen before from Lamazi. How much have I got? 1.5 meters. So that's going to become some kind of summer top. And this one from Lamazi, which I've shown you before on a fabric haul. Or is it that way? I don't know. Maybe a Maven Pattern Somerset top. And this I bought from Frumble. Oh God, I mean, I think 2 or 3 years ago. Again, I've got 1.5 meters of that, so I really like that. Not sure what to do with that. Some kind of t-shirt. You've seen this from Sister Mintaka that I bought. Excuse the post-it notes. It just tells me whether I've washed it, dried it, and all of that stuff. But again, I want to use that. And then I've got this viscose. I've got 3 meters of this that I bought from Harriet from Sew Me Sunshine. I think I've shown you that before because I love daffodils, and strictly speaking, this isn't really a very me kind of fabric, but yeah, I do really like it. And with 3 meters, surely I can think of something really nice to make with it. But it is white and it is going to be pretty transparent, so I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to enjoy thinking about it. That one I know what I'm going to make with, so I'll show you in a sec. Got this that I bought from Lulou Designs, 1.5 meters of this, which again isn't really very me, and I think that's going to become some kind of pyjamas. I was drawn to it. Oh, this is another Lulou Designs. Got 2.5 meters of this one, which is the one with the elephants. I made a shirt out of the similar one with palm trees on. Again, need to have a think about that, because 2.5 meters I've got options there. And then this one I bought fairly recently from Material Girl Laura, which is 2 meters of this viscose, which I really like as well. So I'm going to spend the next couple of days thinking about what to make with all those things, but I think that's going to be my focus, is concentrate on these fabrics that have been sitting here for a while and actually use them. I might even forbid myself from buying anything new till they're used. And then 2 more, but I've kind of worked out what I'm going to make with them, and in both cases they actually come from this month's Burda magazine. I'm very, very much missing JJ from the Camden Stitch and her little flick through Burda magazine. So I'm hoping she'll get better soon and come back to us, because it was a bit of a ritual for me. I used to buy my Burda magazine, sit down with a cup of coffee and go through it, and then go and find JJ on YouTube and see what her take on it was, because we didn't always agree, but you know, it's interesting, isn't it, to see how other people interpret the same designs. So I've got this fabric, which I think I bought from a company called SewSewSew, and I've got 2.75 meters of this. This is a paisley, and it's pretty kind of 70s vibe. I really like it. I like the colours, and I've been dying to use it. I've probably got more than I need, but I saw this skirt in Burda, which at first glance here doesn't look like very much at all. This version here you can see clearer. So it's cut on the bias, but only from kind of hip level downwards, so you've got a band at the top. And I like that because I like quite a flared skirt in the summer. I will lengthen that and probably make it quite long. I don't find that fantastically, can you hear the dogs above? Fantastically flattering length on me. And I quite like a swishy skirt, and I think in this paisley print it'll look fab. But I don't want it to be tight, obviously, and I find anything gathered immediately from the waist doesn't give a very kind of flattering look, because it tends to hang, the fabric will hang from your widest part, and in my case that's my tummy, so it kind of creates almost like a hoop of fabric, which just makes me look bigger than I really am, or than I'm deluded enough to think I am. So I find that if the volume doesn't start until further down, so it's more like from kind of thighs, hip thighs downwards, and also being cut on the bias, that's going to be quite clingy. I just think that that should be a little bit more flattering, and then you've got a flat sort of front across the tummy rather than more bulk and volume at the area. But in my case, I kind of don't need any bulk or volume. So I think that's what I'm going to make. Well, I am definitely going to make that with the paisley fabric. There is a variation in here that's longer. It's got an extra ruffle or an extra layer to it, but it's also got a kind of handkerchief hem, and I'm not wild about a handkerchief hem. So I think I'll just stick to the previous version and lengthen it. And then the other thing that I also saw in the Burda magazine was this top here, which at first glance is just a very ordinary, I guess like a shell top with a round neck, but the neck band has gathering, and I thought that was a bit more interesting than having just a straightforward round neck top. So I'm going to give that a go. I think that's what I'm going to make next, actually, before the skirt. So I don't know what my dogs are doing upstairs. So I'm going to make that out of this fabric that I think it's actually Merchant and Mills fabric. I bought it from Gemma, who runs Bobbins and Bolts, which is a sewing shop in Harrogate, and she also has an online store. I've got 2.5 meters of this, although it is a narrower width. So I've certainly got enough to do that top, and if I'm lucky I might even manage to eke out enough to make a camisole out of the rest of it. So I think with these big round circles where you've got kind of gathering on that neckband, it might just, yeah, might be a bit more interesting. So that's my plans for the next little while, is to concentrate on that top and the skirt from the paisley fabric, and then in the meantime have a think about what I can do with all those other fabrics. But just in general, I think it's about time that I stopped saving these things for best, or stopped feeling nervous to use them because I love them so much, because that's just an absolute nonsense. They're far better being turned into garments hanging up in my wardrobe than they are sitting in here. So I'm going to have another little browse across YouTube, because I always find that really inspirational. I've enjoyed, I don't know if anyone else has, I've been enjoying watching Making the Cut on Amazon Prime. You know, it's the new kind of fashion show from Tim Gunn and Heidi Klum, which I've really been enjoying. Not to mention the fact I've been really considering having a fringe cut back into my hair because of Heidi's hair, but sadly I'm not sure copying her hairstyle is going to give me the looks of a supermodel. But yeah, really enjoying watching that programme. So wish me luck, because I'm now going to have the joy of, yeah, finding the right diagram and tracing off and adding seam allowance and all of that. Oh, if you want to check out the best way to add seam allowance to these Burda patterns, Camden Stitch, Jay made a video a little while ago. She looked at all sorts of different methods, different gizmos and different ways of doing it. So I'll put a link below. I tend to, where is it? I tend to use my Pattern Master Grader's Square, actually, which I'm not sure you can see that, but it has lines along here, and I just trace it out onto a big sheet of paper. I use rolls of paper that you buy from IKEA. I think they're supposed to be for kids to draw on, and I literally just do it with a pencil. And you know, I don't think that there's necessarily a quick and easy way, but JJ's looked into them all, so check her video out if you want to see what other methods there are. And as soon as I've got those two things done, I'll pop back and see where we've got to. In the meantime, folks, keep safe. Speak to you soon. Bye.